After a disappointing 8th and a 9th on the opening day of the Menorca 52 Super Series Royal Cup, Tony Langley's British-flagged Gladiator bounced back with 2 good, solid race wins. Müller-Spreer's Platoon retained the overall regatta lead thanks to their 2nd and 5th places.
Well, a good second day in prospect here in Menorca. Similar kind of forecast to yesterday, so 12-13 knots of breeze. We're racing in the same course area. Platoon go afloat with a small lead, but it's super tight at the top and anyone can win races here, as we've seen. So race 3 gets away in 9-10 knots of breeze, still quite choppy. Off the start line with Gladiator, get out to the right early. Platoon are held up just momentarily on the start line, but get out to the right. And these are the top 2 boats. Round the top mark is Gladiator, Platoon and Quantum Racing. That really stays the order. Sled get through Quantum momentarily, but through the finish line it's a win for Gladiator. Platoon consolidate their lead in the regatta, and Quantum Racing come through for a 3rd to improve on their 2/6 previous day. So the breeze is very definitely dropping for race 4. Out on the left side, Alpha Plus get a nice shift and lead round the top mark from Gladiator, with Ergin in 3rd, Quantum Racing in 4th. Down the run will Gladiator get through Alpha Plus and go on to record their 2nd win of the day. And Provezza steal 2nd on the finish line just ahead of Ergin, and Alpha Plus end up with 4th.
So we decided to stick to the right, and when we had an opportunity we jumped on it and it paid off.
We executed the plan and we got the results.
We got good boat speed and Nick and Will does a good job reading the waters, putting us in good positions.
So the Menorca 52 Super Series Royal Cup standings after 4 races. Platoon leading on 11 points, 2nd are Ergin on 14 points and 3rd are Sled. We are live on 52 Super Series TV for Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Stay with us all through a big weekend in Menorca.
This is your weekly sailing highlights show, The World on Water, July 14, 2023. This is the pedigree of the RORC Cowes Dinard winner, Tschüss 2. The yacht started life with a win in the 2012 Volvo Ocean Race as Groupama 4 under Franck Cammas, then Kiwi winemaker, Delegat, won the 2016 Rolex Sydney Hobart Race in it as Giacomo. It was then sold to the US and as Wizard, it won the 2019 388 boat Rolex Fastnet Race.
Organised by the Royal Ocean Racing Club, the biggest offshore race so far for 2023 will be a memorable one for RORC member, Christian Sügel. Racing Tschüss 2, skippered by Johnny Mordaunt, the Volvo 70 has set a new monohull race record for the Cowes Dinard, St. Malo race. Tschüss 2 completed the 151 nautical mile course in an elapsed time of 10 hours 56 minutes 18 seconds, winning the Sanderson Memorial Silver. After IRC time correction was calculated for the 179 boats racing under IRC, Tschüss 2 completed the hat-trick as overall winner of the Cowes Dinard St. Malo race, winning the King Edward VII Cup, dating back to 1906. At the beginning of the year, Christian Sügel acquired the Volvo 70 formerly Rolex Fastnet Race winner Wizard, earlier this year. Project manager Johnny Mordaunt trusted in the talents of boat builder Jason Carrington and designer Juan Cuyum to get the boat back to race condition, including fixing a damaged canting keel. This is my first proper offshore race. I wanted to experience racing a Volvo 70, and when the opportunity came to buy this boat it looked like the perfect choice, commented Christian Sügel. Back in January, we did not even know if the boat would be ready for this summer, so this first offshore race could not have been any better. We had great teamwork, especially calling the wind shifts, which were called superbly. During the race, we had times when we were going well over 20 knots, but she is so easy on the helm, until you push to the limit, and then it gets a bit hairy. She is a joy to drive and to sail. I became a RORC member this year. I have stayed at the London clubhouse and dinner was delicious. I am looking forward to visiting the RORC in Cowes during Cowes Week, where we will be competing in the Cur 40 Plus Tschüss, so see you in Cowes.
In this white-hot fleet on day 3, again, it seemed all too easy to pair a good result to a bad one. That was not the case for the circuit leaders, Ergin Imré's Provezza, which sailed to a 4th and 1st places to take the event lead by just half a point from Takashi Okura's Sled. And Jean-Luc Petithuguenin's Paprec team had their best day of the season so far with a 2nd and a 4th.
Border burns the pin!
Welcome back to Mahon for the 3rd day of racing here at the Menorca 52 Super Series Royal Cup, and the midpoint of the season comes today in theory, but at the top of the table at the moment Platoon lead this regatta. They've won here twice before, they're 3 points clear, and Provezza still leading the circuit. It's going to be a great day racing. They should see up to 13-14 knots. Gladiator starting a little bit late, but in perfect position at the committee boat end of the line. That allows them to tack off early. Paprec also tack early. Meantime, over the line are Alpha Plus and Quantum Racing, powered by American Magic. Both have to restart. Gladiator doing some nice work up this first beat, but it's Paprec leading round the top mark. Gladiator a little bit slight on the ley line. Paprec actually build quite a nice lead on the offset leg. Gladiator round second. Down the run, will Paprec had moved to be over 100 metres clear, but at the leeward gate it's close. The two boats split. Value round in third, but the top mark, Paprec and Gladiator quite close. Quantum have got themselves up to third with Value in fourth, but through the finish line it's a win for Gladiator. Just get through Paprec. Paprec get second, and in third place is ever consistent Allegre, who moved to the top of the regatta standings. A little bit more wind pressure for the next race. Platoon are over the start line. Gladiator coming late and tack early. Good start from Provezza in the middle of the course, so to Paprec, and less so Quantum Racing. Getting up the first beat, it's actually Sled leading Provezza round. Paprec in third, and Quantum sail a great first run. Got good wind pressure, good shift. Get themselves right up to second, challenging Provezza, although Provezza go round the left-hand mark. Quite close up the next beat at the top mark. So Quantum get hooked into nice band of pressure, good waves coming down the first run, and get themselves right up to second. Provezza still leading round the left-hand mark. Quantum on the right. It's close round the top mark, but it's still Provezza with a big lead over Sled and Paprec. And down the second run, well, Provezza extending clear, rolling into their first win of the regatta, and that takes them to the top of the regatta standings. Next through is Sled, and Quantum coming through in third.
We just focused today on doing good races. Looks like this breeze helped us a lot. We were struggling a bit on speed the first couple days, but today we felt really comfortable with these conditions, so just find out that we are leading, so it's amazing.
Generally pretty good. We're happy to walk away with a 2 and a 7. It's a difficult place to sail. Very confused sea state, so obviously very difficult to drive to, and probably more difficult downwind because the waves don't line up with the breeze, so it's really tricky downwind and very puffy.
We are 2nd and 4th today, and so we are very happy, and we are dreaming to be 1. I was dreaming to ask for a new container of champagne. Unfortunately, I have to wait for tomorrow, maybe.
So after 6 races, Provezza leading on 23 points, Sled half a point behind on 23.5, half a point behind them, well, Platoon and Allegre third and fourth, both on 24 points. Well, a super close day of racing here in Menorca. Provezza still on top, but just by half a point, all to play for into a big weekend.
With the help of a solid melt-emi wind throughout the race area, and reaching and running angles in the first few legs of the course, the fleet of yesterday's 44 starters has had a fast start to the first half of the Aegean 600. This offshore classic race is organised by the Hellenic Offshore Racing Club and co-organised by the region of Attica, Olympic Marine, and supported by the Deputy Ministry of Sports.
It's going to be very exciting in the beginning, you know, it's going to feel like a sprint right off the bat, and then we're going to settle in and it's going to be quite a race, 600 plus miles, upwind, downwind and everything in between. It's going to be a challenge, it's going to be a bit of a marathon.
It's only forecast to get stronger, so a little bit of nerves on board. This is the first race for the whole team, in this course. So excited, but pretty anxious to see how strong it's going to get. Well, there's a lot of challenges, for everyone on this sort of course, but we're a big boat, and to change sails is a lot of work. There's a couple of islands that you have to zigzag through and very small channels. Some of those in the night. In strong wind, 100-footer can be a handful. So sail changes are key.
Well, this type of race is different than a boys race. It's offshore, and and especially on the Aegean Sea, with such a strong winds hitting you 24/7, it's a different challenge. First of all, mentally for the crew, it's a different type of preparation, and really challenge your way of pushing yourself. Even if your battery is on zero right there, you have to keep pushing.
We are sailing only media. Please subscribe, share, like, and check the alerts bell. Winners of the 52 Super Series Menorca regatta in both 2019 and 2021, Platoon looked to have killed off their chances of a consecutive Mahon hat-trick when they were over the start line and were penalised to amass 13 points for their day's work. But the past WTP 52 world champions first had put themselves into position to take the lucky break when it came their way at the end of race 7 before then winning race 8 emphatically.
Border versus the pin!
So welcome to day 4 of the Menorca 52 Super Series Royal Cup. It's all changed today. We've had 3 good days of racing in moderate to stronger breezes. We're moving to the south of the island in search of a wind. It's very light winds today. It's very hot, very sticky. At the top of the table, where Provezza are leading by half a point, but there are 4 boats, Provezza, Sled, Platoon and Allegra, all within a single point. So who will be crowned kings and queens of the Royal Cup here in Menorca come Sunday afternoon? Stay with us all the way through till the big finale. So 12 or 13 knots of breeze on the start line. Platoon start nicely, so do Provezza further down the line. Also Alpha Plus at the left end of the line. The top mark though is Sled leading round with Provezza in second. Alpha Plus up there as well. Across the offset is Sled have extended just a little bit. Alpha Plus there. Platoon up in fourth. Nice even run. Gladiator break out to the left on board with Provezza. Maximum concentration down the run, but it is Sled still leading at the top mark with Allegra having got themselves right back into it. But at the finish finish line, the breeze has died away completely. Sled end up getting a penalty for being on the finish mark, and so Platoon come through to win. Allegri also got a penalty for impeding Provezza on the line. Provezza go on to the finish mark, but in fact Platoon win the race, and Provezza gets second, but penalties for Sled drop them way down the leaderboard, and so too for Allegri. 8 points for Sled, 7 points for Allegri. A really contentious race, but Platoon leading the regatta. So about 11-12 knots of breeze on the start line. Allegri start nicely off the pin, not quite up to pace. Good start from Platoon. Provezza and Gladiator up the first beat. Platoon get into the dominant position early on. They lead round the top mark comfortably, actually, with Paprec in second, Gladiator in third. Paprec getting round nicely onto the offset leg, but down the run, Provezza giving chase. Platoon leading comfortably and extend. But Paprec keeping pace with Platoon upwind, just trying to do all they can to catch up a little bit. Meantime, Gladiator and Provezza close up the second beat, but through the finish line it's a win for Platoon, their second win of the day, taking them to the top of the regatta standings. Paprec through in second, Provezza through in third. Provezza second overall in the regatta standings.
I think it was really unfair what happened to us. It's the first time that we cross first and finish eighth. Pretty frustrated. The only thing we can do is keep sailing well. The season is still long, there's plenty of game to be played.
I think it was very unfortunate the timing of that happening, because it was only 50 meters away from the finish. Platoon was lucky, Sama was more unlucky. We hold our position, so overall we are satisfied with that.
The difference to be hero or zero is this. We need to realize that yesterday we have a bad day, today everything was on our side. This time we needed to thank our bowman, because Dagi did a fantastic job on the starting line. So he won the regatta. We'll be light tomorrow, so everything can happen.
So after 8 races, 2 left to race hopefully on Sunday. Platoon leading on 26 points, second Provezza on 28 points, Gladiator third on 34 points. So 2 wins for Platoon on the penultimate day, gives them every chance of winning for the third time here in Menorca. Can Platoon do the hat-trick? Join us for a Super Sunday Showdown.
Giovanni Soldini was second over the line in the multi-division behind Justin Schaefer's Orion. Video by Diamond Head Marine.
Beh, è stata una regata difficile per noi sicuramente, siamo partiti appunto con un po' di handicap, soprattutto sulle vele, perché avevamo delle vele che sono del 2019 che hanno fatto mille avventure, e le vele da regata sono rimaste nel container insieme ai foil. Un peccato, perché a parte la prima fase di regata dove c'è stato poco vento, poi erano veramente condizioni da volo stabile super. Direi che ci siamo scontrati principalmente con Orion, perché Argo si è ritirato il secondo giorno per problemi al motore, e Orion si è rilevata una barca molto veloce. Aveva vele molto belle, nuove di pacche, disegnate dallo stesso disegnatore che le fa per Zulu, e quindi uno che conosce molto bene queste barche. Direi che nella fase iniziale della regata siamo stati un po' in difficoltà, perché avevamo proprio un po' di difficoltà di velocità pura, nel senso che loro andavano un pelino di più. Con questo sono riusciti a conquistare un po' di vantaggio, che però poi si è amplificato molto arrivando diciamo nell'Aliseo, perché chiaramente chi era più a ovest, chi era più avanti prendeva prima il vento e quindi moltiplicava la sua velocità. Queste barche a 1-2 nodi di differenza fanno un'enorme differenza in termini di performance, e quindi da 12 miglia che avevamo sono diventate subito 30 quando siamo entrati nel vento. Poi lì è successa una roba molto strana, probabilmente hanno trovato una riga di temporali o qualcosa di strano, perché tutta la flotta navigava diciamo per rotta 270 con il vento da 60 gradi più o meno, e loro hanno fatto un giorno per 2,50 di rotta con vento probabilmente da 20-30 gradi. Quindi un vento diverso, più vento perché avevano anche una velocità molto alta, facevano 28-29 nodi di media e questo ha fatto la differenza alla fine in tutta la regata. Noi siamo rimasti col nostro vento normale e abbiamo dovuto andare nell'angolo dell'alta pressione a cercare il giro di vento più verso est prima di strambare, mentre loro sono riusciti a guadagnare tantissimo a sud e dopodiché quando il vento è girato si sono ritrovati un vantaggio abissale. E comunque hanno fatto una regata splendida, sono sempre stati molto veloci e non hanno sbagliato niente, quindi non c'è stata storia. E speriamo vada meglio la prossima.
The Aegean 600s course is a magnificent anti-clockwise lap of the southern Aegean Sea, weaving its way between islands steeped in Greek ancient history and mythology. The start was off Homer's sanctuary, the Temple of Poseidon, before heading to Milos, of Venus de Milo fame, and on to the gate at Santorini Caldera, where the white houses blend with the volcanic rock. Southwest to the race's southernmost turning mark, Kassos, it is then northeast leaving to Port, Carpathos, birthplace of Athena, and on to Rhodes. The course then meanders north up through islands such as Kos and Kalymnos, before the fleet heads west, past Patmos and on to the gate between Mykonos and Delos, birthplace of Apollo, to the finish again off Sumi.
The experience was fantastic. The weather is fantastic, so we really enjoyed it.
Really scenic.
Once we started the race, we saw it was a bit lighter than expected. But still, it was quite a challenge to come around the southern islands. The record was 63 and now it's around 45, isn't it? Yeah. So that's a good record. Yeah.
This one's a new race. It's perfect for those that want to stay in the warm, sunshine, great sailing. This will establish itself on the calendar, I have no doubt.
It was quite tough. Everybody said that the Caribbean 600 is the hardest one, but for me definitely this one already took the first place after one edition. So very challenging conditions, a lot of maneuvers, sail changes. You can race around beautiful Greek islands, enjoy the view, but also push yourself to some uncomfortable conditions.
Finish is with no wind, but it's so nice with the light, the first light. It's amazing to arrive like this.
Fantastic. I must admit it's the first time we raced this course. Is really scenic. We had also all conditions in terms of weather, from no wind to 45 knots gale. And also it's incredible that we have arrived 3-4 boats within minutes after 600 miles. That has been also a very interesting fight along 600 miles.
Palm Müller-Spreer's Platoon extended their record in Menorca to 3 victories when the German-flagged team lifted the Royal Cup as winners of the third regatta of the 2023 season, the Menorca 52 Super Series Royal Cup. Platoon also won her in 2019 and 2021. They were pushed to the final gun of the last race by Ergin Imré's Provezza. The Turkish flag team, winners in both Saint-Tropez and Scarlino, lost their 2023 unbeaten record by only one single point after a nail-biting finale when Platoon, led by Italian tactician Vasco Viscotto, deciphered the best route up what proved to be the last leg, sailing round the outside of Provezza in a fast-fading breeze to steal the top prize.
Border burns the pin!
Well, a big Sunday showdown here in Menorca. It's really between Platoon and Provezza. Platoon on top. They've won here twice before. Can they make it 3 in a row in Menorca? Meantime, Provezza have won in Saint-Tropez and in Scarlino. Can they make their own hat-trick? All the pressure's on them, but really we've seen here any team can win races, but it's all to play for. So a little bit of a scrappy start. 4 boats to the windward side of the committee boat. Value having to recross. A nice start though from Sled, who are on the gun. Platoon also quite good up the first beat, get themselves out to the right. Sled in command of that little group. Platoon furthest out to the right, round the top mark, while Sled have a little bit of a lead over Provezza. Early jibe led by Sled. Coming down the first run, it's Sled opening out through the leeward gate. It's still Sled from Provezza. Allegris separate a little bit and get out to take the lead on the second beat and lead round the top mark with Provezza second, Sled third, Platoon in fourth. Allegra then take the race win, move up to third step in the podium. Provezza through in second, Sled third, Platoon fourth. Platoon and Provezza tied on points going into the final race. So into the final race, a good start from Gladiator at the committee boat end of the line. Sled get away nicely. Allegra a little bit slow off the line. First attack, well, Gladiator leading round the top mark with Sled in second. Platoon end up having to shoot the mark and lose a little bit of distance relative to Provezza, but they get round first. Down the first run, it's fairly even. Provezza maximum concentration round the leeward gate. Well, the breeze has really gone very, very soft and shifty. Platoon coming round the right hand mark. This is a key move for them. They get it out to the right, and as the breeze really dies off, we end up with a split wind and Quantum coming through the line winning, but Platoon gets second through the line and win the Royal Cup. Provezza through just behind, but they extend their lead for the circuit. So the winners are Platoon, 3 from 3 in Menorca 2019, 2021 and again in 2023.
16:32, so in 20 minutes. 2 months ago I lost my father, so that's a very important regatta for me. It's a very emotional regatta, and I think that he helped me a lot today. He pushed the boat every single meter. That's great. So I'm very happy, and I'm happy obviously also for the crew for what we did. I think that we sailed today with a lot of personality.
Oh, we are having a great season with 2 regatta wins and 1 second podium place, and we are extremely happy. If somebody would told me a year ago you would maybe have a numb feeling for second place, I would say, are you nuts? But it looks like we are so far enjoying a great season.
When you're sailing against the top teams in the world, when you make a mistake you pay, and we paid dearly for it. The good thing is we learned from our mistakes, and we're really looking forward to the next event in Barcelona, the World Championship, and got to turn this thing around and come out swinging.
So the final standings for the Menorca 52 Super Series, the Royal Cup. Well, the winners are Platoon on 34 points. Second, Provezza just 1 point behind on 35. Gladiator get their second podium of the season in third on 41 points. And the circuit standings after 3 regattas, Saint-Tropez, Scarlino and Menorca. Provezza leading on 111 points. Second now are Platoon on 130 points. Third, Quantum Racing, powered by American Magic, on 137 points. So what a great week of racing here in Menorca. Platoon coming out on top. Provezza move forward into the next regatta with a big lead for the circuit. And the next event is Barcelona, the Rolex TP52 World Championship. Join us there.